Hi there, welcome back to the Nerd Presgrave case. We're doing another focused timeline map analysis of Jack Newton of all people. First and foremost, I will have to defend myself on the spot. It's one of those times where possibly humans may question me, and I would like to do it in advance so it's under control. Some may say, we've seen a timeline before of Jack, we've heard it here and there. But ask yourself, have you seen a focused map analysis specific timeline from Jack himself without all the other clutter and combinations of other timelines such as Cadence? I don't think so. I've not done a video like this yet, until now. So, feel free to leave your thoughts and comments down below. You could call it the insanity timeline because it just doesn't make sense once you get to a certain point. But nevertheless, I have constructed it in the order of the way I've heard it and how it's been said with time. Is this the absolute complete timeline of Jack? Possibly not. But it's more than enough to highlight the idiocracy of it and the incompetence, the lack of consistency. It just doesn't add up, and people can say, well, no shit, ugh. Just remember, there will always be new people that will come to this case. It's not just always old timers that have been since day one. You'll get a variety of people, and it's my aim that when I create videos, I try to make them clear enough, deep enough to understand, but also open enough for anyone and everyone, no matter how far you've progressed in this case, okay? So, let's begin. What's one of the more prominent ones that stands out? Well, already it looks like a complete mess, doesn't it? But that's just Jack Newton in general when it comes to retelling stories of events and stuff. And you can argue and say, yes, but with time and memory, it can impact you, and trauma as well. Why we come up with all these excuses at the time up to a certain point, I understand. But when the times change so vast over time as well, literally, you'll see on screen, I think there's a bit more to it. So just to give the backstory, I only heard about it myself in the last Partner in True Crime episode interview with Ashley Chadwick, the cousin of Noah, and Robin Smith, the aunt. That was just adding on with context, saying originally it was Jack Newton that said directly to Noah's father, Victor, that at 11:30 p.m. Sunday night, Jack Newton and Carter Combs went to sleep. Now that's arguably quite early when considering everybody else was still awake. A little bit weird in a way, but that's just how it was said at the time. And if that's the very first thing you hear, you'd probably take it as the truth, especially if it's early on. But it didn't last that long. The interesting thing was, Victor was told that specific time, never corrected. But Jack Newton told other people with time when he actually slept, and it added on and on, went into Monday, as you see down below. Why is that the case? Now, the situation with Jack Carter at the time, sleeping in the same room bed, very normal, considering boyfriend-girlfriend, is where it is. And as a heads up, in case anyone was wondering, from the looks of it, and it seems very clear now, Jack Newton, Carter Combs are together once again. So was it a publicity stunt in the past? Or was it just a rough patch with other private matters going on in the background? Who knows? I just wanted to make that clear for you. So the next time that was given, which was Monday morning, September 4th, 1 in the morning, Jack Newton claimed to have gone to bed. So that then counters the 11:30 Sunday night. There is already conflict. Either you went to sleep at 11:30 p.m. Sunday night, or you went to sleep at 1 in the morning Monday. You can't have both in terms of how it was worded as well. So there was that. Then it changed to 2 in the morning when Jack slept. Now that itself was countered by Caden Pressey, who said he went to sleep at that time Jack claims to. And Caden said Jack was awake, along with Noah. and by 2:42, still awake in the kitchen or near a beer pong table. So it kind of highlights from another witness that Jack Newton lying, but constantly changing the times. Was that a desperate attempt to use it as an alibi? If you sleep in, if you're not awake at the time of when something bad happens, then you can't really be responsible because you've not seen or heard anything. You're not really a person of interest to that extent. You're not really a witness. And if you are asleep, then you couldn't have been responsible for such as the death of someone. So is that why the timings changed? I mean, why not stick with 11:30? Is it because Jack knew other people would know he was asleep, was awake, so they would counter his points? That's why Jack decided to change it with time. Is that why Jack only told Victor so the news wouldn't spread as much if everybody knew about it at the start, so then he had more chance to change the story narrative as time went on? If you told everyone a certain story originally or a timestamp, then you changed it later and then told everyone again, then people are going to be very cautious and question you. If you tell only one individual a lie and then you change it up later, or no, let's word it differently. Let's say you tell a truth to one person and then later on you think, no, that kind of incriminates me. I'll change the story to a false narrative, but I'll let everyone know. And obviously everyone didn't hear about the first one, so it's the first time hearing about the altered version of the story, so they'll just believe in it, and there's less people to question because there's only one person's question because they were once told the truth. That's how you could look at it. In a way, I'm not saying that 11:30 is the truth here, because it doesn't seem to be, but in other situations and stories it can. Anyway, what was after 2 in the morning? Well, Jack was saying how, 2 in the morning onwards, sleeping, at some point that's when Noah came into the room and took the keys and left. But I didn't see it. It was actually Carter Combs in bed who saw it herself and then told me about it afterwards. So some of the information isn't even coming from Jack himself as a witness, but from what someone else has told him. Is that good enough? Not really. It's like a Stevie Howard, Sarah Long situation. Oh, from what Jack told us. Oh, from what someone told Jack. It's just third party, fourth party, fifth party. It's just not good. Anyway, next prominent one that really stood out was 3 in the morning. That's what Jack was highlighting at a point, that around 3 in the morning onwards, side-by-side incident, accident as he refers to it as, with Noah Presgrave tipping on over, then having a shower but being assisted by 2 girls, I think one which Jasmine Milan and whoever else, to the shower because Noah wasn't able to. And the stories have differed there, not directly with Jack, but other people in between. I mean, as for the other events, like an argument taking place on Saturday, I've not included it on this timeline because no actual time was given as to when the argument took place. The times and events I'm providing here is what's been said and added into a sentence. So, at this time, I did this. At that time, that happened. That's why it's more specific, in case you're wondering. 3:30 a.m. in the morning, Monday, Noah Presgrove left, heading east. Walked off into the darkness. That's what Jack said, and Jack also claimed to be the last one to see Noah leave, which would be that way, towards the highway. Problem is, more so in recent times, such as like with the last Partners in True Crime interview with Ashley Robin, it was also brought up in that by Jack on the phone call. Instead of Jack being the last one to see Noah walk off, it was actually Logan Jernigan who lives at the place. Now, Logan and Noah fiddled about, supposedly, as some of the family members of Noah claim, on the Sunday or Saturday. So there's that. But that aside, why would Jack suddenly bring in Logan's name all of a sudden in recent time? It's just a bit random. Is it trying to pin the blame, the focus, the responsibility onto someone else so it doesn't reflect back on yourself as much? Maybe. It could be another form of desperation. Altering the story to benefit yourself, to lower the heat levels, or just to outright cause confusion. Whether that be to protect yourself or someone else or some people, it's worth taking into consideration. So, what happened after that? Well, there's talks of, searching about and looking for Noah after he's gone missing and unable to find him, but then, just brushing it off. It can't be that bad. He probably made it back anyway. Probably got a lift back, as Jack said at some point. I don't remember those timestamps personally, but I don't think there's enough consistency to say that that type of stuff did happen. Now, the next thing from Jack's mouth at recent times at about 5:50 in the morning, many hours passing by in which the death of Noah occurred at. So, very interesting. I mean, if you ruled out all the different times of when he actually slept and you pick only one of them, such as before 2 in the morning or so, and completely unaware of all the events happening after that, and then upon waking up at 5:50 a.m, you'd think, well, that seems pretty innocent, asleep all that time. No, because there is one key timestamp factor which we'll get to very shortly, and it kind of throws everything under the bus in a dodgy way. 5:50, roughly waking up. Fishing trip planned much earlier on Monday. I think I saw Jack say it was Sunday, or an article stated that, which is a bit weird because it was originally mentioned as it was all done, organised on a Monday really early on. But for it to be organised, Jack would have had to have been awake to contact family, grandfather, to say what time and where. So he would have had to have been awake at some point to be able to organise it or accept the event. Nevertheless, at 5:53, Jack texted father Caleb Newton to meet at the lake ramp. Now, Jack didn't say it himself, but Caleb stated on Facebook that the reason why is because Jack Newton's son woke up too late, so they had to move about in terms of meeting spots. But I've seen people in the community online stating Caleb doesn't live that far away. They could easily still meet up in the original spot, so why did it actually change? Was there another reason to it? Anyway, Jack, getting ready, goes, heading north this way, and obviously with reaching the highway, gets to the actual scene itself, and that's around 6 in the morning. And I know everyone questions that. 5 minutes later, 6:05 a.m, September 4th, Jack calls his father, Caleb, about the news of Noah's death. So there's that. Now, you might think, why did I miss out 5:15 in the morning earlier on? Because it didn't directly come from Jack's mouth. That was Caden Pressey's timeline. So I don't want it to cross over to conflict with this more simplified timeline. Okay. The only timestamp I have missed out, and it did occur earlier, supposedly, is what you see highlighted in red. 4 a.m, Noah died. In other words, Noah passed away. Does that mean at 4 in the morning, that's when Noah was maybe beaten, attacked, hit by something, and then died on the spot? Well, there is that question of, did it happen all in this one spot or further back, whether that be on the property or near to the highway more south? Either way, in terms of final breath, whether that be dying of blood loss, I mean, to be honest, you can interpret it in different ways. A slow death, an instant death. An instant death would mean the person saying it would have had to been there to know and see it happen, the actual killing, so that person would know a lot more. If you're there just to witness the person passing away, because whatever was done to them was earlier on by whatever time, a slower death, you're not going to see the whole thing. You can be a witness to the death of someone, but not the witness to the killing of the individual, fast or slow. But in brackets, for context, this was by Jack Newton, what he said, what he stated. And it was in a text conversation on Facebook with Justin Roy, who was asking questions. It's a good thing Justin Roy was able to contact Jack at the time, because Jack dropped that bombshell timestamp of 4 in the morning. That's when Noah passed away. So this is the one and the key timestamp which just messes everything up. Because you know, you could be lenient, and I mean really lenient, with the times of when Jack supposedly slept at. Maybe he got confused with the timing, maybe because of memory loss or trauma impacts with time. You say things here, you change it later by an hour or two. Still seems a bit extreme, but it is what it is. Being asleep and then waking up at 5:50, completely unaware, oblivious as to what's gone on earlier, and then upon getting to the highway and then finding out for the first time sounds very normal. But then Jack, of all things he could do and say, decides to say, oh yeah, and 4 a.m, around the time of when I would have been asleep, that's when Noah passed away. How does Jack know that? Who told Jack that was the time? Jack never said he was told that. It's just that he knows it because he stated it himself. So this is the biggest issue out of it all. If you took this timestamp out, it never existed, then maybe people wouldn't question Jack as much. I mean, there's still been inconsistencies elsewhere, but, you know, you wouldn't, you know, use a microscope, magnify it as much. But this 4 a.m. one is pretty significant because it's at a time conflicting with when he's supposedly asleep, but also it's an actual event which ties in with Noah. And to know of a time of when something happened, there's a fair chance that you have to be there to witness it. And then that would make you think, well, to witness it and be there, then what else does Jack know? He never really added on with it. He never really counted it or changed it much at all later. It just faded away. Now, I don't know. Is this 4 a.m. timestamp the same situation with the 11:30 p.m. timestamp Sunday night, which Jack decided to tell the father, Victor Presgrove, about, but no one else? So with 4 a.m, Jack Newton decided to tell Justin Roy what the situation was, but only Justin and no one else. But it backfired because Justin reposted or whatever the text conversation at the time, so more people heard about it. Does make you think. So that's pretty much it. There'd be other events, but as for exact timestamps given, maybe not exactly clear. There'd be quite a few events which happened here and there, but times aren't always given. And as for an actual timeline, you need timestamps, dates, etc. So as simplified as this was, I just wanted to do a focused video. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Feel free to share if you want. I'm aware that there's ongoing things and other breaking news coming out, but I can't do everything all at once. Sometimes being a little bit behind is a good thing because others can just zoom on ahead without thinking clearly and then be let down by news being overhyped, right? That's what I'm feeling right now. I'm going to give you a very vague prediction within my internal mind, and that is, I think that maybe certain situations are being hyped up. Could that lead to maybe some humans hyperventilating, getting ahead of themselves? Yeah. Time will tell, of course. I just sense that there's something a little bit dodgy at the moment, and I've not reached it yet because I've still got unfinished business elsewhere. And it wouldn't surprise me if by the time I catch up, I'm like, okay, where's the news? Where is it? Come on. Oh, that's it. Something tells me that could happen based off patterns in the past, just like with the Dylan Rounds case. I can see it all in my mind. Nevertheless, feel free to share this video and hit the like button. Thanks for watching. See you next time, whenever that is.